So, as you might have seen in the past videos, I'm the guy that likes budget stuff a lot. So this is why I'm going to do this video, where I'm trying to mount a probably 15-year-old CPU cooler on a modern CPU. Why is that? It's because, well, CPU coolers that are now getting older and still are quite good, especially from names like Noctua, Be Quiet, and so on, they are still quite usable and still quite strong. But the problem is they don't fit on modern sockets. Well, while yes, you may use a new CPU cooler if you have a budget for a PC upwards of €1,000, obviously then you are probably going to have a budget for a new cooler as well. But if you're going to buy a cheap PC like I did in my previous video, well, then you don't have much budget for a CPU cooler, but because you bought maybe a slower CPU, you always also want to overclock. And that's where the box cooler comes in, which is not really optimal for overclocking, obviously, because it's this thing here compared to this. And because you can find old CPU coolers, like for example this one, for like 10 to 20 bucks on eBay or whatever, because they don't fit modern CPUs. They are probably, this one for example is only for AM3 sockets, so up to like 2012 or something. And yeah, that does not make much sense for CPUs now. But these CPUs still produced a lot of heat, and therefore you needed a big CPU cooler. So do modern CPUs, so you could use that now as well. So, and this is why I have tried to mount this on a modern motherboard. Although this is only AM4, obviously you could do the same thing on AM5 or an Intel equivalent. And yes, this mount may look a bit sketchy, but it works and has only cost me like half an hour in Fusion 360 and about a half an hour on a 3D printer. If you obviously don't have one accessible, there is plenty of services that will print you something for a few bucks, which is not that bad. So back to this. I wanted to mount this on my Ryzen 5500, which is a low-end CPU, which but still it produces, if overclocked, kind of more heat than this box cooler can handle. I was able to hit 95 degrees even on stock performance with that cooler while rendering and stuff. And right now it's overclocked to 4.15 gigahertz, and then I'm hitting 95 degrees while rendering videos even. So I needed to upgrade it to something better, and I had this lying around. And yeah, so I hopped on Fusion 360 and built myself a mounting bracket. It wasn't that difficult, but you obviously have to measure each and every cooler if you want to do the same things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It works. It's not that beautiful, doesn't look that good, but you can't really see it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I'll show you the results on screen, which should be better than with the stock cooler by quite a big margin. Obviously, you could do this with any cooler that you can find. It does obviously only make sense with bigger coolers, like for example something like this, or for example in Noctua NHD 14, which is the previous iteration of the NHD 15 and can still be had for like 20 to 30 bucks and is still very potent, but I don't think it has a mounting for AM5, for example. You obviously have to be a bit careful because those CPU coolers are very heavy. And if you use PLA like I did, you will have to print it fully, so without any infill, which will obviously need more material, but is still doable for a small budget. Probably the most challenging thing would be constructing it within a 3D modeling software. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me know if you like this video or if you like this kind of content. It's a bit more DIY than my other videos. And yeah, if you liked it, again, click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. And otherwise, I wish you a nice day and goodbye.